introduce you to our panelists who are going to take us through this session. Unfortunately, we've not lost, but 12 of our panelists have faced some hardships, so we shall be having substitutes along the way. So allow me to introduce our panelists today. My name is Eria Kawirekwa. I work with the Uganda Investment Authority. I'll be your moderator for this session. We have Mr. Bradford Ocheng, who is the Deputy Executive Director at Uganda Tourism Board. Then we have Madam Charlotte Kamgasha from Uganda Women Entrepreneurs League, you will. And we have a dangerous substitute, Madam Winnie Laoko, who will come in to also explain in detail what WEN entails, because WEN is the UIA Women Entrepreneurship thing. So basically what we are going to discuss today, before I bring in the panelists, this session 6, we want to find out ways of how to provide equal opportunities for women entrepreneurs by removing barriers, ensuring fair treatment, encouraging greater financial, professional, social development for women in the tourism and services sectors. And that's why we brought in this specialist, Mr. Bradford Ocheng from the UTB and Madam Charlotte from UWIL, to be joined by our own Madam Winnie, who is going to also discuss on the women entrepreneurs. That's the brief background. So I'll call in Madam Winnie to give a brief background of WEN before we proceed to our technical panelists. Madam Winnie, welcome.
Thank you very much, Eria. Our panelists, we are extremely excited today as we relaunch Uganda Investment Authority Women Entrepreneurs Network. We feel very much for the women in the tourism sector because of the pandemic. And at this stage, probably I want us to just take 1 minute as we remember those who have lost their lives due to the COVID pandemic. So just let's take 1 minute and pray for them and pray for the country, that God may look after, protect us throughout this time. So help us, God. Amen. Uganda Women Entrepreneurs Network is a network. I just want to, first of all, quickly highlight what the importance of networks are. A network gives us power. The first thing, it gives us power in numbers. If we are going to be negotiating for anything that we would like to have, then we would all want to have power in numbers. The second thing about networks, it helps us in improving our skill or improving our act. If one person in the network is excellent in something, we are all able to benefit from that. And then last but not least, and I think this one is a very important and more specifically at this time when we have the pandemic, it helps us meet our needs. Currently, we all know that the pandemic has taken us into a situation where probably we are not working at full force. We have laid off certain staff. We cannot critically maintain certain overheads. So the networking helps us to share resources. Let me come back home to Uganda Investment Authority Women Entrepreneurs Network. The Women Entrepreneurs Network is a neutral platform. When I say neutral, is that Uganda Investment Authority sits in the center of the Uganda Women Entrepreneurs Network and allow women associations and women groups to become members, where we come together on investment advisory. Now, it's very important that we note the word investment. Most women or most of the people joining this session today are actually putting resources, what they call investment, and they're looking at this investment to be able to give them leverage and also to be able to expand and grow. The second thing about this network is that it provides information on investment opportunities. Over and over again, and I think our moderator will talk later on about certain investment opportunities, but I think over and over again, Uganda Investment Authority continuously looks at opportunities, which gives investors an opportunity to multiply and double their investments. We also assist with facilitation in terms of acquisition of secondary licenses or other regulatory improvements. We support with joint ventures. But more specifically, Uganda Investment Authority is now a one-stop center that would help provide all services that are related to investment through an enabling platform. And that's why for Uganda Investment Authority, these 2 days is going to be critical for us to address issues in program-based areas. I want to stop here for the moment and allow us to dive into the discussion further. Uganda Investment Authority Women Entrepreneurs Network is open to all member associations and investment clubs, and we look forward to actually signing up more members into this network to allow us better leverage. Thank you, Eria.
Thank you so much, Madam Winnie. We are glad you've given us a leeway on what to expect from WEN. That's the Women Entrepreneurs Network, the investors we are looking at, the entrepreneurs. And now want to dive into the technical side of it. I first of all have to say some apologies to Connie Kekembo. I had mistaken her for Charlotte. Connie is the one joining us from UWIL. Charlotte is part of the panel. So I would request Bradford to come on board and tell us the opportunities women have from the tourism sector. I was reading some report from the WTTC, that's the World Travel and Tourism Coalition, and they are saying that tourism is among the most hit. 64% of the women, especially the women, have lost jobs. And then from your global summit in Cancun, that's Mexico, in April this year, you made a promise, Mr. Bradford, that you are going to empower women, which we call the Women Initiative. So without so much ado, I want you to come on board and give a promise to our Ugandan women entrepreneurs, how they are going to benefit from the initiatives, how you are going to help them to recapitulate from the COVID-19 epidemic, which has ravaged most of them, and how you are going to help them, especially to leave the lower jobs to go up into the managerial jobs, because that's what they are yearning for. So, Mr. Bradford Ocheng, you're welcome, and let's have you on board now. You're welcome, Bradford.
Thank you so much, our coordinator, the moderator. And if you allow, will just allow me to share my screen a bit, and then from there we can pick it. Really, to start, I probably want to say that we, as UTB, we are definitely guided by the legal framework. And again, as a government agency, we are, how would I call it? We are supposed to be again neutral, like also neutral, like UIA, and to be able to serve everybody. So I want to say that we have been around for quite some time. We established by an act of parliament, we call it a statute, in 1994, almost as old as the UIA, by the way. UIA was 91 and UTB was 94, and then later on revamped in 2008. And I just picked a few of the areas that probably you need to see how we work with the private sector, how we work with the women, how we work with the investors, how we work with the facility operators and all that. The Act 208 revamped gives us a very good leeway on how to work with the private sector. Definitely our role is really to promote the country, to look for tourists, both local and foreign. And one area where the act is very, very clear is to formulate in conjunction with the private sector a marketing strategy. So again, this again gives when, where, and all the women entrepreneurs an opportunity to work with the UTB. And also goes ahead to say that we need again to implement that strategy with the private sector in order to bring a sustainable tourism in the country. We are also supposed to promote domestic tourism. And domestic tourism, you know, again, this one goes with all the facilities, accommodation facilities, transport facilities, investments, and all this and all that. So again, this is another area where we can work together with the women leaders in the private sector. We are also supposed to encourage investment in the tourism sector, and where possible, to direct those investments to the less developed tourism areas. So if we know West Nile is not developed in terms of tourism, Karamoja, Eastern, Busoga, and all that, it's part of our mandate to ensure that some of these are actually, you know, dispersed to some of these areas. So again, as you can see, opportunities are there, and we can work still with the women leaders in the private sector. And then the other bit of regulation, we do regulate the sector, and we are supposed to enforce standards. And this is the standard enforcement goes with the inspection, registration, licensing, and classification of those tourism facilities and services. And then, of course, we also do capacity building. So again, these are all possible areas where we can work together with the women network. Now, of course, before COVID, now I want to put it in perspective. Before COVID, Uganda was rated one of the 10 front runners in terms of attraction of tourism in the world. And after Angola, you have Uganda, Brunei, like that. So this suggested that Uganda was doing quite well. And also before COVID, you all recall that the sector was the #1 forex earner. It was bringing over $1.6 billion, you know, contributing 80% of GDP and bringing direct jobs over 700,000 and indirect jobs over 1 million. And again, I want to say that even these jobs, we look critically, more and more we actually, the sector employs more women than men. And even in terms of most of the facilities, the managers, we have actually more women managers, you know, in the tourism sector. So this should give us a basis really, you know, to spring from, because we know if you're a leader, I think the next point is really to also to create jobs, to invest. So I think maybe that's where we now need to work together with the network and see. And now I just want to show you exactly before COVID also, where we are getting all these all the tourism from. So you can see really things were moving so well. From 2009, you see the figures were under a million. And by 2018, 2019, they had almost go to 1.6, 1.7 there. And then, of course, then toward the, the big thing called COVID came in, and you see that's where we're getting all our tourists. Luckily, most of our visitors are coming from within the continent. And actually, if you now read down, you'll find the visitors are even coming more and more from the EAC partner states. Yeah, we have more visitors coming from Rwanda, from Kenya, from Burundi, DRC, Tanzania, South Sudan, Ethiopia, and all that. And of course, we have America there, where we have Canada and US leading, and then Europe, where we have the UK naturally being our historical ally. And then in Asia, we have India there, over 35,000 visitors annually coming in. But of course, all these are good things were before COVID. And then of course, after COVID, then the disruption all came in. The disruption all came in. And you can also see again with the MICE. MICE is, we are also trying to position the country as a hub for conferencing. And you can see that over the last 10 years plus, Uganda has been moving. And by 2019, before COVID, we're actually number 6 on the continent, in terms of attracting conferences in the country. So again, all these have all been disrupted. And really, again, we need to reorganize and see exactly how we can get back into this. And when we have those disruptions, really, you all bear with me that really we all start from ground zero. Now, because of COVID, the sector was the worst hit, really, really badly hit, because you recall that there were no travels, borders were all closed and all that. Now, I told you that before COVID, we're getting almost 1.67 million visitors. And after COVID, you can see we just had less than 500,000. Yeah, less than 500,000. Even in terms of receipts, from 1.6 billion US dollars, we had almost by end of December, we had just, I could say, less than a third of that, just 500 million US dollars. So, which is really a 72% decline in the earnings. And all these, the effects are there, and it goes down to investment, it goes down to travel, it goes down to all the value chain areas that ordinarily would be earning, getting money from. So with COVID, we had all these challenges. We out of the 10 workers, 7 lost their jobs. Bookings went down. A total of 400, almost close to 500,000 hotel rooms. Before March, before the onset of COVID, all these were cancelled and amounted to a loss of over $300 million. So you can see really the challenge of COVID. We hope the second wave won't last us as long as we had in the first one. And in terms of tour operations, really, I would say there was almost no tour businesses, really, because you can only handle people who are coming, and if there are no visitors, there's no trouble, then you can only guess that really everything came to a standstill. Now, of course, where we are going now, all these are happening within the competitiveness of our destination as a country. How competitive are we? Despite all these good and bad things, how competitive are we? And if you look at that setting alone, it will also tell you, the Women Network, that we all need to work together to ensure that the destination is competitive, so that you can do business effectively in tourism. I just want to show you a slide how we compare in the region with our neighbors. We don't even want to go very far. We just want to go to the EAC, the few EAC countries: Burundi, Kenya, Rwanda, and Tanzania. You can see how we're faring. We're not doing quite well. year in, we are out. In 2019, you can just see that we are almost within the region. We only beat Burundi. We only beat Burundi. That tells you that we are not doing very well in terms of tourism and travel competitiveness. Now, I also want to show you again the indices now for the competitiveness within the areas that we don't actually do well. This is still within travel and tourism. You can see that in terms of health and hygiene, out of the 140 countries that were surveyed in 2019, we were almost last, we're 136 out of 140. So meaning that if you're doing business in the hotel industry, you have water, you have food, it's very, very unhealthy, very unhygienic to even touch those facilities, those products. So we just beat only 4 countries out of the 140 that were compared. So again, we need to work together first to make our destination competitive so that we can do business in tourism. The other aspects that we didn't quite do well is also on air transport. We're 127 out of 140 again. We didn't do well. Tourism service infrastructure, we're 124 out of 140. Again, well, these are challenges, but to some extent also they bring opportunities, because if we're talking of tourism service infrastructure, we are talking about the hotels, we are talking about the travel network, we are talking about all this. So these are challenges that they also offer opportunities, but of course, some of them are opportunities that do not necessarily add to the bottom line. Some of them need to be taken by government through the MDAs and all that. So again, as a destination, we are not doing quite well compared to our comparators. Whether it is business environment, we are 95, safety and security, 116. ICT readiness, how do we use ICT? Can I book online? Can I pay online? Can I all these? And I can assure you, if you're a traveler, if you're an investor, it's just when you see that there are actually challenges. Yeah, there are challenges. If you're in a taxi, can you use a credit card to pay for a travel that you made? And these are the experiences that even you as travelers, local travelers, should actually be able to know. Do you have a credit card? Do you have a debit card? Can it work anywhere? If you went to a BIM, for example, can you use a credit card to pay for a service that you, whatever? The answer is definitely no. And then how do we do business in tourism? How do we do business in tourism? I know the payment gateway has been there with the NITAU for quite some time. It's also taking shape. We hope these are some of the things that eventually will improve our competitiveness. So again, women leaders in the private sector, I think we need to work together to see how best you can make our destination competitive so that we can do business. So down there, you just see how we're moving. 2015, we're 114 out of 141. 2017, we're 106 out of 136. 2019, as I said, we're 112 out of 140. We are having another report this year, 2021. This report is done every 2 years. So again, these are perceptions, but perceptions like any other whatever, if somebody doesn't hate you, I think the perception can approximate to almost a reality. So I think let's work together to see how best we can make our destination competitive. Now, what are the initiatives that government has put in place? Just pick a few, just for recovery in the midst of COVID. Definitely, you've heard of the SOPs, the standard operating procedures as UTB. Definitely, it was our role to ensure that the establishments within the tourism are actually ready for visitors. We are talking about the protected areas. These are the national parks. We have many, about 10, 11, 12 in the country, distributed throughout the country. SOPs for hotels. You need to ensure that when you go to the hotel, you don't take disease, you don't bring disease, you don't leave it there, don't pick it from there. In restaurants, tour guiding, travels, and all that. So we work with all these facilities to ensure that they are SOPs. This was one way for us to restore confidence that yes, we are ready for business again. And it took quite some time, even as we talk. Of course, you people know that some of these, even if the guidelines are there, some travelers definitely will put them aside and do whatever they want to do. But still, as a country, I think we ranked so high. I think a study that was done by Lancet, I think put us almost now one on the continent. There's again one that was done by travel, even the WTTC. I think even we're one of the 10 countries in the world that actually did well in terms of SOPs. Of course, now the second wave, we need to rethink again and all that. I think again, government also work together to ensure that the upcountry accommodation facilities were exempted from VAT, and also this is over and on top of the Kampala-based facilities. Unfortunately, of course, this is only up to end of this year, end of this June. But we are again trying to work with the private sector to lobby. We have written quite a number of letters to the Minister of Finance to ensure that some of these facilities are extended, at least for one more year if it were possible. You even saw last week we met the president on some of these issues, and is trying to also to look at this to see some of these that can actually be implemented. We've worked very closely with the Uganda Development Bank, the private sector associations in tourism, the EU, again to put together a facility ready for the tourism enterprises. And we thought this facility would have a competitive interest rate, at least for now. It's, I think below 10, about 8%, just to see whether these facilities can be used to really to recapitalize, some of these hospitality enterprises. Again, I think the devil is in the detail. We want to see how best the uptake on some of these facilities are, but the credit, the lines are there, at least for those in the tourism sector. The unfortunate thing probably is not for the greenfield investments. It's only for those that are already on and those who are revamping. And as UTB, we have also intensified the promotional campaigns, attracting tourists, both local and foreign. You have heard of Take on the Pearl, and really we're trying to encourage Uganda to travel, to appreciate the country, and also to make sure that we are all in this together. So we've been working very closely also with the UI in some of these aspects. Now, as UTB, we also want to ensure that the brand I told you about, the destination, the country, we want to see again, how do we keep the Pearl of Africa brand alive again? For long, of course, you've known that we've been trying to develop a brand ID for the destination. And I'm happy to report that in the next 1-2 months, we should be able to have a destination launched. Right now, we are trying to seek buy-in from key partners and all that. We have a consultant that is handling this. And we think this would reawaken, this would reignite interest in the country. and we can use this really to bring some of our unique capabilities, unique products, unique aspects that we would ordinarily market to both Ugandans and also to travelers from our field. We have also deployed the MDRs. These are market destination representatives in key source markets in Europe. We are having a representation in Germany, Switzerland, and Austria. We call that the German-speaking countries. We also have the English-speaking, the UK and Ireland. We have one for the North America, looking at USA and Canada. We have one in Japan. We have another one in China, and one MDR in the Gulf states. We are currently trying to procure 4 more MDRs, one for Africa, one for Africa. They're looking at Kenya, Nigeria, and South Africa and Ethiopia. We are looking one for India. We are looking another one for the Benelux countries, including France. So we hope when we have representations in some of these key markets that work closely with our embassies, Uganda in the diaspora, and our friends, we should be able really to mirror some of the key aspects that we would want foreign investors, foreign travelers to know about our uniqueness as a destination. So we continue to develop and roll out SOPs for safety and confidence building. And right now also we are doing classification and grading of accommodation facilities. You've had a lot of media announcing, calling for hotel owners and managers to participate in the grading and classification. You've heard of 1, 2, 3, 4 star rating. This is actually our UTB. So we thought also this is one way again also to market the competitiveness of our station, also bring confidence that facilities are again ready and ready to compete with the similar facilities within the region and all that. We are also in domestic promotion. With the COVID, we have known exactly that one way to enhance sustainability is basically, to look inward. As Ugandans, let's travel. As Ugandans, let's invest. As Ugandans, women, let's try to see how best we can work together. And all these opportunities and all that. We are also developing content for the destination and also trying to improve on the tourism sites. And we are cooperating with the Uganda Airline. We are happy the Uganda Airline is back, and with our diplomatic missions abroad, we should be able to promote our destination. Now, in terms of how to really win Will and all the women leaders in the private sector, I think for us as UTB, opportunities are really enormous. We want to listen to you. We wouldn't want really to say, this is what we are doing for you. I know in a way the Equal Opportunities Commission is very, very careful about equity, gender, and all that. At that level, definitely we are scoring high, but now the reality on the ground, what is it that we have? So we want to listen to women entrepreneurs. We want to listen to you. How can we work together in the tourism sector? I know already we're employing already a lot of, actually the employees more women, but now what we need to see are the women-owned businesses in the sector. Where are they? Are they ready to work together? Are they ready to advocate? Are they ready to look for funding? Are they ready to to take our capacity building initiatives, programs, and all that? I think these are the things we need to work together. But for the private sector, I think for now they are looking at tax reductions or deferments. These are people who are already in business. They are looking for financial support, again for recovery, just to ensure that their cash flow is maintained. And I told you about the UDB money. And also, they want us to intensify marketing and promotion for those both domestic and international markets. So again, these are the things. But for me, I would also add that as women entrepreneurs, I think the low-hanging fruits that you really need to you need to get into is in the government. For those who are not in investment, those who are in trade, those who are in whatever, what is it? Where are the low-hanging fruits? And I would rather look at procurement. Procurement in government is so big. If you look at this year's budget, financial year 21-22, we are talking about almost 45 trillion. If you take away money for debt servicing and all that, you can still have like almost close to 40 or 30 trillion. Now, 2/3 of that is actually procurement, because if you take away salaries, wage is about 5 trillion, and that will remain with about 35 trillion. Now, this 35 trillion is almost procurement. If women came together and said, yes, we want 30% of that procurement to go to women and the youth, I don't think you're asking too much. It's already happening in Tanzania, it's happening in Kenya, it's happening in Ethiopia, it's happening in Rwanda here. So really, it's really like a cut and paste. 30% of procurable items should go to women. That is one way first to get money that would make you, put in the bag and then think of how to invest. And also, you can also have reservation in other strategic areas. Yeah, this Operation Wealth Creation, where are the women? Now OWC is running most of the big sectors and all that. Why don't you say, yes, as women, we are also positioning ourselves well. Let's have 30% of whatever you are doing, targeting women. Oil and gas already, the local content is there. But is that targeting women? Women entrepreneurs, where are you? I think we need to, if you compartmentalize all these sectors and just aim at 30%, I'm sure from government, from the private sector, it's really, to me, it's a low-hanging fruit that would make you really start. Even security. The biggest money now is going to security. Where are women in security? Yeah, I know there are some. You can supply a lot of things. You can supply uniform, you can supply what, you can supply, even you can operate a security firm. What's the problem? Private sector in tourism, research, EPRC. I think also, like Minister of Finance, sometimes you can only convince them when you have evidence that, things are not working well. You put yourself in EPRC. Let them, look at the human issues, profile them well, bring them forward and say exactly, so that you can use that to lobby for funds or for attention or for anything, advocacy and all that. So I think for me, really, for women, your issues are easy to handle. You all just need to come together. And now with the network that is available and you are at the forefront, to me, really, this is a good start. You avoid over proliferation, division going here and there. Just come together as one voice. To me, I still think the sky is the limit. In tourism, the value chain is too long. You can enter in transport, you can enter in accommodation facilities. You can just supply, even just supply these hotel facilities. Either food, either security, either uniform, either whatever you want, And really, to me, tourism is big. Tourism is all inclusive. Tourism can bring equity in transformation of this country. Thank you so much, moderator. I think let me stop here for now. And really, as UTB, we are happy and ready to work with the women leaders in the tourism sector. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bradford. We are always appreciative of your knowledge. Bradford is an encyclopedia on government opportunities, having worked in very many areas, Investment Authority, PPDA, UCDA, now is with tourism. So what he has talked about is basically like giving us an overview of where the women can come in. And I think it's spot on. I had some questions from our participants, but as you are concluding, when you brought in those other sectors, you seem to be preempting these questions. And then there is someone who wanted to know, what do you have for women? But you also asked the women, how can we collaborate to ensure this? So without preempting the next speaker, I would rather request our participants to be a bit patient. We listen to the You Will person because Bradford seems to be asking them, where do you want us to collaborate? When Women Entrepreneurs Network, how can we work together to push the women agenda ahead? I think that's what he's trying to ask. So let me call in my colleague Connie from You Will. Please, as you listen to Bradford, come and we first listen to you, then we handle all the questions together, then we make a strategic way forward on how to help the Women Entrepreneurs Network on tourism and the services sector. So Connie, please, it's all yours now.
Thank you, moderator. I hope you can hear me very well. Unfortunately, my video may not be able to be put on because where I am, we have challenges with the network.
Good to go. We are good to
First
go.
of all, okay, we would like to thank you for the invitation. I'm representing the chairperson of the board, Dr. Barbara Ofono Uyondo, and my name's Connie Kechembo, the Chief Executive Officer for the Uganda Women Entrepreneurs Association. This is an association that has brought together women for many years. We are talking about 34 years now, and we have continued to grow for many years, and we are proud of that. Specifically, in line with the tourism sector, You Will members are in the different value chain of the tourism industry, and our role as membership organization, which has grown to 2.5 million entrepreneurs, we have two biggest sectors, one being agro-business and the second one being tourism. And like the previous speaker said, our members are in various levels of the value chain. So we have done three major things with them, and one of it is building their capacity, advocating for better policies. Now, as you know, tourism is a key player in contributing towards the SDGs, and I'll specifically mention SDG number 5, which talks about gender equality, economic empowerment, and ensuring there's nobody left behind. In that line, You Will has decided for many years to ensure that we don't leave behind any woman. And if they can participate in the tourism industry, that is the best. Today, we were asked to talk about the second wave and its implication to the sector itself. Now, in this sector, you will find that the women fall under the five key thematic areas, and that is in employment. They're either employed or they're employing. Also, the women are in entrepreneurship, and this specifically, I'll talk about the innovations. They have had a lot of innovations. Some women are in handcraft, some are in textile, and all this contributes towards the development of the sector itself. The other key thematic area where we find our women as You Will is in the area of training and education. They are in the area of as guides, as trainers, as teachers, in the various levels. In hospitality, they are doing a lot of training to see that we have a very good industry in tourism that is compliant and can help in the development of this country. And I'll mention that so many women are doing a lot of customer care, hotels, accommodation facilities. And as we discuss how the second wave is affecting the women entrepreneurs this time round, the hospitality team is one of the areas that I'm going to emphasize on, and being in the service sector. The other thematic area that I must emphasize on is the leadership. We've also seen most of our women in leadership position and leadership in tourism. Like the previous speaker just said, the ED, the deputy ED, it is very clear that they play a very fundamental role in different levels of the value chain as leaders, as managers, and therefore the decision during the second wave is very, very challenging, which we shall be looking at later on as I discuss. The last thematic area where I wanted to emphasize where the women are actually coming in again is in the area of policy and decision making. This is very clear, even the president acknowledges this. We have seen our women who are critically in discussion on the policy aspects that can see that our women are getting integrated much more. But what does it mean to the second wave? And I'll also talk about what interventions are we doing to see that the women pick up again after being hit in the first wave, and now we're also getting challenges again in the second wave. The deputy ED of UTB has just said that tourism actually was the best key hit in the first wave. And I must say that as women entrepreneurs, we learned a lot in the first wave. In the second wave, we are carrying on the lessons we have learned. And one of the key lessons that I would say that we did a lot of creating awareness among the women, telling them to diversify, getting into some of the businesses in tourism sector that can be taken forward easily. And this, I'll give you an example. We are already preparing our women to do export in North America on textile and accessories. These are products among the women products that they're going to really exhibit out there. And I will tell you that even when the second wave has come in, there is a level of preparedness we have done with the women who are members of UWIL. So that one critical thing as the second wave comes in, it has found us at a level where there is some level of awareness created in the industry, in the service industry of tourism. Of course, this also goes on with the awareness on SOPs, because there's no way they're going to be competitive unless they're aware on the current environment. So the other aspect I must emphasize that has gone on, we have, since the first wave, we have been emphasizing issues of digitalization, and the women have tried to embrace the opportunity of learning on how to use ICT to sell their product. We have encouraged them to know that the first wave has come, but we may even get more waves coming in. Now we are in the second wave. And what that means is that, but they must continue their business. So that continuous education, and in ICT, remember, it in history, the women and ICT has always been a nightmare to the men, but there is an increasing confidence among the women. They have opened up their websites. We have linked them to various opportunities, and we see them more prepared. Of course, I must say, these women we're talking about who are also participating and contributing in the industry are caretakers. And once you're locked down, like we have been locked down again, there is diversion of whether to focus on the business or caretake at home. And a lot of times we spend more time on caretaking compared to the business. That is one of the critical implications of the second wave, that we have gone back to more care as opposed to growing the businesses, which were already hit and were coming up. So as you will, obviously, this is an eye-open again that we have to continue preparing our women to be ready, to be competitive in whatever situation, in whether there is the second wave or third wave, may it actually even come, and the fourth wave, but the businesses have got to run. Yeah. Again, I will now focus on specifically the implication. This means that the women have got to change their mindset. They've got to widen what they're doing. They've got to actually invest in reading and research during this period, because there are some businesses that can still go on even when we're locked down. Like I said earlier, we've been preparing the women to do export in craft. Export has not been locked down. I think the airport is open, and we are going to continue supporting our women to continue the production, cottage production, to ensure that they can embrace that opportunity of export, the door that we've already opened up with our development partners out there. And for me, the second wave implication means that right now we have got to implement what we have been impacting, the knowledge we've been impacting to the membership, and also to the women who beyond the membership itself. So the shift in the mindset change is the critical thing in this second wave. because it has a very big implication. If you do not manage the change right now, the business will go back to the challenges we actually encountered in the first wave. You have left your premises, your business premises, you still have to pay the landlord, you're not present there, and this will still come. Some are servicing loans, which they access to inject into the business when we got the first challenge, and these are going to continue happening. But we are expecting a different set of women entrepreneurs this time around in the second wave. Even when it is more stronger, all of us are being shaken by the second wave. We believe what we have been preparing them for should be able to translate into tangible results. They should be able to transact and continue business. And this, we have seen women crossing during the first COVID to this second one now, the second wave. We've seen women crossing into transport value chain, into logistics. And now there are many women who own actually border that can do delivery of the products. I think for me, as representing UWIL's voice, this is the only way we can enhance our contribution towards this second wave, to ensure that the women are reminded that we have got to have options beyond what we're doing at the first time. Moderator, as I wind up, I would like to talk about the critical interventions that UWIL has done over time, but also that contribute towards the readiness with the second wave, but also that helps the women to build that resilience during this second wave. First of all, we have developed a partnership with UDB, and we are in the process of ensuring that our women in the tourism sector and other sectors are supported to revitalize, to ensure that the business are actually revived with enough capital and are able to engage like our counterparts. And this is continuing. We are about to roll it out. For me, it's one of the key interventions to start now negotiating for proper recovery packages for the women entrepreneurs who are ready to move to the next level. The other aspect that you will continue doing in this second wave as a key intervention is improving the product development in the relevant areas throughout the value chain. You are very aware that the president did not stop travel to the airport. So the travel agencies, our women who are in the travel agencies will continue to prosper. So what we need now is to see that they are actually known, they are well known, they are well marketed. And so that calls us for more enhancement of our program for digital marketing. And this, we're already doing it, and we'll continue to help our women to ensure that we give them the platform. The other aspect of one of our core intervention as UWIL has been building capacity, training, and I've been repeating this, but specifically during the second wave, our intervention will be more on technologies. There are various ways that these women can actually be more frugal than before to see that they continue their business running and they're making money. And on this, because one of our key mandate is networking and linking women to market, we are part of the 50 million African women speak. And this means we're going to have to start putting the products of women, and this is still part of the tourism value chain, on that platform. And the women should be able to transact across the world. We don't have to wait for the second wave to end and then we come back to revive our businesses. And the other aspect where we have the strengths, and in terms of the intervention we are doing in the second wave, which we will also continue doing, is supporting the grassroots women. This wave has found us when we have already said a few cooperatives at the grassroots. We have about 34 cooperatives, and we want to ensure that we strengthen them this second wave, and they're able to be linked to markets with their products in the industry, in the service industry, in the tourism industry. And I think this is more critical because you all know that now we are talking about import substitution, and therefore we are going to provide alternatives as the women entrepreneurs. We are also glad to be part of this network because it's going to give us an opportunity to strengthen our interventions that we have planned as UWIL. I have, maybe before I go to the comment, the last aspect I want to talk about in terms of intervention, we have been at the forefront of our campaign on public procurement. And this would mean we are also been preparing the women to take part in the tourism industry on different opportunities, on different procurement opportunities. Right now, we are advocating for 30% reservation. And this, we are doing it very, very candidly with the young people, with the youth and persons with disabilities. We are doing it together with other key departments in government, like Equal Opportunities Commission. We would like to see this environment improve further to favor the women in this country. For the discussion about 30% reservation is going to continue. We are privileged to be supported by UN Women in this agenda. And I know we have had a lot of collaboration with UTB about this. If this happens, then that means that what the Deputy ED was talking about, the women then can now start seeing the reason they are contributing toward the public procurement in this country. And we will continue preparing them as this second wave goes on. Our commitment, as you will, is to continue ensuring that the women can follow the presidential guidelines during this time, but also importantly, to encourage them to continue focusing on their businesses and ensuring that they're adding value during this time. We are hoping it may not take forever, and therefore preparation for the women entrepreneurs, encouraging them, giving them a lot of money and overcome the second phase, and their business should be able to survive. Otherwise, we see a downfall in terms of projection, that if this second wave is not well managed, there's likely to see a very clear low performance in this sector, especially where the women are into more of care work during the lockdown period, compared to being into more actively into the business and aggressively marketing their products out there, their tourism products out there. The moderator, please, I would like to know how much time I have, but for now, I think I can stop there and allow people to ask us questions. And those who would like to join, you will be contacting us later. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Connie. That was a nice presentation. We appreciate the work you're doing at You Will. Our dear participants, please, we are seeing you are growing in number as you're coming in. Feel free to throw in your address, where you're watching from, and also to give us feedback. I like what Newton Kamuseda has just said. Mexico is another market we should consider for tourism textiles. But before we go to the question and answer session, I want to invite one last person to make a discussion. That is Madam Winnie Lawoko. Please come and tell us what strategies the UIA SME division has in this regard to tourism and service sector, so that we can conclude this and we listen to the participants and what they have to tell us. Madam Winnie, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Eria. I'll just very quickly give some highlights of the country position of SMEs. The slide before us, you can see that 25% of GDP in 2018-2019 was from the domestic revenue, and employing 45% of total employment. This is from URA. We also know very well that most of the SMEs are young enterprises, and most of them are engaged in business between 1 and 10 years. The critical years of high mortality is between 0 and 2 years. Most SMEs rely on word of mouth. And I like what You Will said about skilling the women and skilling the youth. Critical challenges is finances. SME growth challenges, access to credit and finance. We have entrepreneurship skills, informal economy, and then also low adaptation to technology. Now, I want to quickly talk about the silver lining that UIA has, and the country at large has identified out of this COVID. One, the area of manufacturing of goods, and actually the manufacturing of goods and looking at onward exportation of goods. The area of value addition, and I specifically for this sector would like to look at things that are very critical in the tourism sector. And these are food processing, cottage industries. We noted that there's a lot of opportunities within the services areas in terms of domestic tourism, healthcare, and home learning. And I think a critical one for us to take out of here is, whereas we have the tourist players who are in the formal sector, how can this critical mass begin to locate the players within the tourism sector who are probably informal, probably don't even know that they have assets that can be translated into investment and lucrative businesses. Supply and logistic value chains has become very critical. Those of us who are tour operators and travel agencies, are we looking at how we can begin to start playing within the logistic, the transportation? And you did mention that a number of women in their sectors are beginning to take up that. Construction sector, horticulture, high density farming and greenhouses, and most importantly, the ICT sector. Here I'd like to note that whereas the country has had a number of stimulants, we still have a challenge. SMEs having a COVID-19 stimulant missing middle. And I think as UIA and also Bradford mentioned, that we are looking to see the finances within the sectors that have funds, to be able to bring funds that can be easily uptaken by the women groups. When you class a minimum amount of loan at 100 million, then critically you're leaving out a number of critical women who can be part of that. Now, surveys show that most surveys that have been done on the COVID show that women and minority-owned businesses have suffered the most, and we need to see how to address that, and that is across the country. I quickly want us to look at a module that we need to be picking as we go into this discussion. We need to be saying, where am I playing in this critical network? If you have UIWEN there and the SME division and the organization as a whole supporting the women groups, where are you? Are you an innovator of ideas? Are you coming in as a partner? Are you coming in as a new technology company? And how are you going to play in this critical agenda? I think this is, for me, the most important thing, take home. As we ask questions, let's ask questions how we can engage better, how we can actually begin to make critical decisions as a tourism program-based area, and talking to government while having an inclusive agenda. And that means a micro player in some parish somewhere is also involved in this. Now, let me quickly go. Most of us know that UIA is a one-stop center. Currently, we have 13 other stakeholders, and we are growing. I want us to quickly look at the programs that UIA is going to be involved in the next 5 years of our strategic plan. We'll be looking at agro-industrialization. We'll look at mineral development. We are discussing now tourism development. And if you're able to join us this afternoon, we'll be looking at agro-industrialization. So please don't miss out on that. We'll look at natural resources, environment, climate change, land and water management. Private sector development, which is very critical. Every investment must see how they can benefit out of programs that develop the private sector. We then have sustainable energy, sustainable urban and housing development. That is critical as we try to enter into smart city environments and avoid growth of slums within our area. And last but not least, regional development. I think the ED of UWIL talked about the 50 million African women speaking. And if you're a woman and have not yet joined that platform, please do, because it is critical and it is the future. Now, in terms of the division mandate, we look at supporting SMEs for investments in 4 pillars. 1, support to access and acquire basic sanitary and quality standards. Quality becomes a very critical issue, more specifically as we go into the COVID-19. There are directives, there are SOPs. If you cannot manage a simple SOP of COVID, then it becomes very difficult for you even to live up to the standards and quality of your goods and services. The other is facility to access affordable financing. I think one of the biggest challenge women groups have had is that women take up financing and it is normally short-term financing. How can we raise our voices and begin to take development financing that allows us a grace period, allows us to articulate the products better, and then take the products to the market? The other area is facilitating to access markets, and then the fourth is on the adaptation to technology. Now, UIA does this through its national portal, and the national portal is your traceable and transparent mechanism for servicing SMEs. We have a major problem as a country. We have not been able to reach all corners of this country, and that means that our growth begins to stagnate. If we do not access and are able to look at all the critical areas where we can benefit in terms of tourism, what is the specialty in Karamoja, for example? Can people from Western Uganda begin to visit Karamoja area because of a specific specialty? So we need to begin to look at those specialties. And I know that UTB has regional clusters and are looking at how to further develop that. Would like to be part of that and see how we begin to take it down, the number of SMEs that we have in the area. The country also sits with almost 70% of the critical MSMEs being in the agricultural sector. How can we start translating the agricultural sector to form a base of critical agrotourism? Do we know that agrotourism and in this green environment is a critical product that can grow even to the level of replacing certain major imports in terms of contribution to GDP? Now, specifically, my last slide, Mr. Moderator, is on how we want to work in the tourism sector. I'm glad that some of the areas have already been picked up. The division works in terms of regional focus activities. So we will be working with stakeholders in the SME ecosystem to create clusters along tourism supply and value chain for marketing the tourism brand. We will also, because we all know that the tourism sector, when you talk about hospitality, you encompass every level of investment, be it transportation, be it supplies of, of goods and services at local government level. So I think Bradford did mention something to do with that. The government procurement is a critical one. How do we do government procurement at local or regional level? We have the oil and gas sector. The other is, how are we mobilizing the women in the tourism sector to be part of the parish module? A critical program that the government is talking about, a critical program that is supposed to lead us into improving household incomes is the parish module. Is it tailored to be able to address the issues of the tourism sector? Or if not, how do we get involved in that? The other is the collaborating to implement the local content to take our 30% as women. When I say our 30% here, Mr. Moderator, I mean 30% of women's agenda in every procurement. And then I think one of the other things that I haven't seen most women take, women association or investment clubs take any interest in, is that Uganda Investment develops industrial and business parks. In the next NDP3, there are going to be 25 industrial and business parks set up around the country. And then 4 steer clubs, which is the science, technology, engineering, and innovation centers. How have women prepared themselves to take that? Can that be one of our way forwards as we move forward to begin to take to take control, to establish the women businesses, and also to avoid being the biggest impacted on when a situation like a pandemic comes up. Business linkages, I've talked about that. Then I think also we need to begin to look at proper lobbying, advocacy, and research as a consortium body, as opposed to individual groups. Moderator, I think this highlights, these are my last highlights. I just want to appeal to the women associations who are here that as we move forward, let's make ourselves a little more visible in terms of supporting startups, in terms of supporting women businesses that may go under for one reason or the other because they have not had anybody to hold their hands as they move forward. I thank you, moderator.
Thank you so much, Madam Winnie. Before you go, I want you to respond to 2 questions, quick ones. And the first one is the UIA WEN desk now operational? That needs a yes or no.
Yes, it is operational. This is the second activity we are having this year. And indeed, as a way forward, we will be having an engagement every month on topical issues. And that means that as stakeholders, you remember we said that we are neutral based. We facilitate this process. It is very, very important that we continuously engage and bring out issues that are critical for discussion and also those which will be able to drive us. We need to take our space. We have an opportunity now that we have the office of the Prime Minister is in our hands. The Vice President is a woman. How then can we miss out on opportunity to establish businesses that help improve our households? Thank you.
Thank you so much. There's the second question, you've answered it. They wanted to know how often can they engage with the WEN, but you've said it will be on a monthly. Hope you give, at the end, you shall get the contact of the desk officer in charge of the WEN. Thank you so much, Madam Winnie. Now I open up to the participants. Bradford, you have some Q&A going on. I don't know whether you can start with that or you were waiting, you had something to add on. Let's be mindful of time as we respond to these questions. And then we shall give all the panelists 2 minutes to summarize as we wind up. Then we shall give you the key takeaways. And by 11 o'clock, I promise everyone will be smiling on his way out of here. So, Mr. Bradford, are you still with us?
Yes, I'm there, Mr. Moderator. Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. And yes, I got 2 or 3 questions in the chat. One is on UDB. Yes, Charlotte put it very clearly. As I said earlier on, that the devil is in the detail. The scheme is there, the money is there. Both a contribution from government of Uganda and the EU. The rate I said is under about 8%. As of May, end of May, the preliminary figures were that we were over 50 applicants at the time. And these applications were at various stages of approval. And I think I'll get back to you on this, Charlotte, and then probably we see where the challenges are. But definitely this money is for the private sector. It's the government of Uganda. It is our money. And if you think it is not useful at all, definitely you have a say, you have a voice to bring it forth. Even through the association, through the Ministry of Finance, through UDB as well, and all that. So it should actually be handled. There could be inherent challenges with the application. But again, as I said, the challenge has been that they are not looking for greenfield. They are looking for ongoing facilities, and also I think they have a formula in terms of the number of employees, the level of investment, and all what you want to do with the money and all that. So probably there could be rigidities with those criteria, but definitely the money is there. Now, the other question is on the classification and grading. Again, I made it clear that really as a country, we are not doing well at all in terms of competitiveness, not at all. I showed you some figures. If I just speak to one of hygiene and health, honestly, if you are 136 out of 140, I think we only beat Benin, I think, and two other countries. It means you can't even touch water in a hotel. So I think the issue of classification is basically really to bring back confidence that yes, these facilities are okay, and they are normally inspected before they are qualified. They are normally licensed before they are classified and all that. And yes, in Kenya, what happens is it's an ongoing process. When you are ready, you apply, and then you are inspected, and if you qualify, and then they give you the grades. It's really an ongoing process. Even in Uganda now, really, as we talk, there are many facilities that have applied, expressed interest to be graded, despite all these challenges that we are going through, especially the new facilities that have come over the last 3-4 years. What other question again? I think those were the ones that came through the chat. Thank you.
Thank you, Bradford, for that response. I want to bring in Madam Winnie again. Madam Winnie, people asking about when. How does someone join when?
Okay, thank you very much. That is an extremely important question. When does not register individuals. We are a women entrepreneurs network. So we take member organizations. So if you are a member of YouWill, we engage you through the leadership of YouWill. Remember, one of the things I said is that we do not want to go into duplicating services. YouWill is already giving services, or any other women network that is here, whether it is a web or business and professional women, are already giving services. So what we then do is we network at leadership level to see how to leverage, to see how to grow, and to see how to multiply the information we are giving through those networks. I hope that answers the question. And if you want to be a member of WEN, make sure you are a member of a member organization. We are going to do a robust marketing strategy to ensure that we actually have membership even in the regions. USEA is one of our members. YouWill is one of our members. WEB is one of our members. And for members that I have not mentioned, please, it is with no disrespect, but it is just to give examples. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Winnie. Connie, are you still with us? Madam Connie?
Moderator, if you can allow me to say something on the stimulants coming out of UDB. It's not yet finalized, but UIA is currently working on seeing how to better facilitate SMEs. And when I say SMEs, because I think UDB has actually successfully supported direct domestic investors. But we must realize that when we talk about direct domestic investors, we are talking about large investors, and we also have the small investors. Now, one of the critical things is that we are going into an MOU to see how to better facilitate the small, medium, and micro enterprise. Maybe not the micro because of the parish level now, but the small and medium enterprises. I know many of you would like to take loans, but if UDB is giving you a cap that the minimum loan you're taking is 100 million, then many women are left out. So we are trying to see how we can best module that and also be able to provide some services there. Now, specifically for women entrepreneurs who are here, most of you, I think, are registered under She Trades. Tomorrow, the engagement we are going to have is going to actually talk about She Trades and the opportunities of stimulant funding that women can access. And that is currently being provided between She Trades and Opportunity Bank. So in the session tomorrow, we will have some discussion in detail in that. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Connie of You Will. We would like you to share how someone can become a member of You Will, or any member in the panel, in the participants who knows about how someone can become a member of You Will. Feel free to air that out. Otherwise, Bradford, you have another question in the Q&A. I don't know whether you can respond to it.
Okay, thank you so much.
Go on, Madam Connie.
Can I respond to how to become a member of You Will?
Yes, please, go on.
Mr. Moderator.
Yes, please. Madam Connie, please tell us how.
Hello.
Madam Connie, please go on. We can hear you. All right, as we wait for Madam Connie to come, Bradford, can you come in again? Oh, the question
Yes.
from Bradford, okay.
This is about the from Dr. Yeah. And I think this is possible. Doctor, let's get in touch and then see how best we can get involved. Yeah. I think this is okay. But for the UDB stimulus package, I think Charlotte was referring to the one on tourism, hospitality industry. It's already up for grabs, and she was just trying to express that the uptake is not good, and probably we need to see how best to respond to that. Thank you.
Thank you, Bradford. Connie, are you able to hear us out? Oliver Katwe CJ, we are going to share the presentation. There is a lady called Faith. She's recording this presentation, and maybe I can give her a few, 2 seconds. Faith, please. Can you tell people how they can get to this presentation, please?
Thank you, Eria. Oh, before I give that answer, I see that somebody has a hand up. I am not sure who. Huda. Let me allow you to talk.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. I wanted to inform those who might want to join You Will, how it goes, how the procedure is. So for the women that want to be a part of the Uganda Women Entrepreneurs Association, you pay a membership fee of 50,000 shillings and an annual subscription fee of 100,000 shillings, which is a calendar year payment. And after the payment, you'll be added onto the database and you'll be notified whenever there is any opportunity, whenever there is any capacity building opportunity, advocacy, anything, you'll be able to get the information. That's after paying the annual subscription and the membership fees. If you're a woman at the grassroots, it's different. You pay 20,000 shillings. And if you're in an organized kind of setting, like maybe a women's circle, you pay 200,000 shillings and all your members will stand a chance to benefit. Thank you so much. That's what I wanted to.
Huda, before you go, where do they pay? That's the question.
Communicate.
Huda?
Yes, my dear, I can hear you.
Where do they pay? you say you pay, but they're asking where do they pay?
I'm
yeah.
sorry. Okay, our the You Will office is located at Umasho Grounds, Lugogo, behind Pride Microfinance Bank. So when you get to Umasho Grounds, Lugogo, the building, the You Will House building, is behind behind Pride Microfinance, or behind UZIA. So the building that you see when you go behind Pride Microfinance, next to the Coffee Development Authority, is the You Will building. So that's where you go to pay.
Thank you so much. We are joined by Madam Oliver Katwesije, the Honorable Member MOP of Uhweju District. Madam Oliver, you're welcome. And now, for those who want to get a copy of the presentation, please send an email to fekudu@ugandainvest.go.ug or to jenansubuga@gmail.com. You'll get a copy of the presentation of everything that happened, and it will incorporate even Mr. Bradford's presentation in full as he made it. Any other question from the participants?
Mr. Moderator, if you can allow Mr. Leslie to say something about the Rising Woman Program. And I think the Honorable Oliver Katwesije would like to say something, if you do allow her to.
Okay, just give me a minute to find Leslie.
Thank you. We welcome Mr. Mutumba Leslie, the desk officer. When Leslie.
Thank you for. Hello.
Okay.
Can you hear
Honorable
me?
First. Honorable, please.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm actually very grateful, but unfortunately I came in late. I did not get all the presentations, but I promise next time I will not come late. So that's why I'm actually asking for the soft copies so that I can go through what you have discussed. But to assure you, I'm so grateful, and I want to be part of this for the women entrepreneurs. Thank you.
Leslie Mutumba, the desk officer. When you can have also 1 minute.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ria, the moderator. Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
My name is Leslie Mutumba. I'm an investment executive for the Ghana Investment Authority, but also desk officer in charge of WEN. Other than WEN, there are a number of initiatives we are doing to appreciate the role the woman entrepreneur plays in the development of our country. And among them is the Rising Woman. The key concept in Rising Woman is to celebrate the entrepreneurial mind of a woman and what it does to the development of our country. We do hold what we call, we have a number of activities that we do, and we do this in collaboration with Monta Publications Limited and DFCU Bank. One of the activities we do is we do tailored business trainings to women in different parts of the country. We try to decentralize and focus on women entrepreneurs in up-country stations. We also have business proposal writing competition with a number of cash prizes to be won. And also, prior to COVID coming in, we're holding business expos for the women who participate in these in the Rising Woman. Now, what we are doing now is we have scaled down quite a bit because of COVID-19, but all the same, we tried to hold engagements with these women with whatever little money that we have. Participation is usually free, but the numbers are limited, and it's on a first come, first served basis. And this year is going to be our 4th year for running this project. And I would encourage all the women to be very observant in the media. As soon as the adverts come out, please participate in this Rising Woman, because it's a good way of networking and a good way of learning new ideas to be able to steer your business to a new level in a sustainable way. Thank you very much. Hello?
Leslie, we appreciate what you've said, and members, if you allow us to share this screen, these are the key takeaways we've gotten from today, and I'll summarize them. There are 5. Members will add on as we proceed, but we've agreed that we need to invest in skills development, support women with effective business management and life skills training, to help them advance their businesses and provide a valuable contribution to their families, communities, and the economy. That is straightforward. Let's just summarize that up. We are going to invest in peer support. This was emphasized by Madam Connie, to support the development of women's groups and networks to help strengthen women's agency. Peer support can also increase access to finance, knowledge, skills, plus creating formal sponsorship, mentorship programs for young women in business. Bradford mentioned financial inclusion to develop the gender-specific financial products. For example, by removing collateral requirements and loans, whatever savings groups. Then the business environment, Madam Winnie gave a comprehensive presentation on this through our one-stop center. We work together with the local, regional, and national governments to allocate funding. UDB is doing that. Increase participation in decision-making is doing that. Improve accessibility of women, such as more access to business registration processes and better access to markets. And the final takeaway is that we are going to gather evidence on value generation and business development. Madam Winnie has told you about profiling. The National SME Portal is going to help us in this, so that we collect, aggregate data, which can help us in decision making. These are the 5 key takeaways as the moderator I picked from this session, and I'll be passing them on to the Secretariat to make sure that the WEN agenda is propelled and pushed higher. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to agree that this is what we've agreed on today, and I ask members if anyone has additions to add on to this.
None from my side, moderator.
Please, Faith, it's now you and Jackie. I hand over to you.
Thank you so much for handing over ably to us, and thank you for moderating this session. I just want to take this opportunity to say thank you so much for attending this session. Our next session will be happening at 2:30 p.m. and we'll be talking about advancing agro-processing and manufacturing. And on that panel, we have people from, we're going to be talking about ICT, we're going to be talking about the government strategy on public-private partnerships, especially when it comes to export and marketing. So if you're able to join us, please feel free to join us. We'll also have somebody from UNBS, and we'll be talking about lots of opportunities for women to move forward. In the interim, I just wanted to add the voice to all of us at Uganda Investment Authority to say thank you so much for attending and to wish you a very nice day. This is going to stay open for a while. For those of you who have not gotten our email addresses, please, it will be open for a while so you can get them. We'll be sending on the presentations and other information once we have put it all together. Thank you so much and have a nice day. Thank you.
Thank you, Faith and Jackie. Thank you, moderator. Have a nice day and see you this afternoon.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you for keeping time. Please, thank you so much.
Hey. Because I